Because we have so many people that joined us, some of our partners already, so they know who I am. Hi, everybody. And some are not. So who am I and why the heck do you care what I have to say? I'll give you a quick rundown. My name is Ikram Masibini. I'm the CEO and president of MVP Network Consulting. I have my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. And for the last 25 years or so, I'm dating myself here, I've been an IT consultant. We do a lot of work with HIPAA. I'm a HIPAA consultant and auditor. We do a lot of work basically with manufacturers, healthcare, law. These are our main vertical markets, but we do help quite a bit of other people, especially in the finance side as well. I'm an IT security consultant. I have multiple technical certification. The list is long to put them up there, but here's my email address. I'm available to talk to anybody about IT. That's my favorite subject. So let's get started. Microsoft 365. Microsoft has been doing quite a bit, and if you're investing, buy their stock because they have a lot more coming. So let's talk about it. Just from my perspective, I wrote 2 books. These are my books. One is Computers Should Just Work, and the other one is Cybersecurity Essentials for Business Owners. If you guys want a copy of that, just let us know. We'll be happy to send you a copy of each. Okay, so the question is, are you getting the most out of your Microsoft 365 subscription? We pay good money to it. Are we getting the value out of it? So to get started, 75% of American workers believe that they lack access or training. So they have the tools, just don't know how to use it properly on the latest tech to do their job effectively and efficiently. At the end of the day, you got to remember that now it's a different environment. A lot of people are still working remotely. We need better collaboration tools. We need to understand how we use the tools that we already have to provide a better way to do business and a faster way to do business. So how can I get ultimate productivity out of Microsoft 365? Now that's the question, right? 3 steps. Step number 1 is the setup. You can set it up and get it running, but you need to make sure the tenant is right, all the information that you need to get set up. And I'm going to get into that in detail in the next few slides. And then features, you need to know what to use and how to use it. But number 2 is you need to master collaboration, how you bring your team or multiple teams together under one umbrella to use that tool properly, and how their left hand can know what the right hand is doing. And then last but not least, you got to secure your account. If you're going to use it properly and move your data there and use it at file management and other things, and have important information, you got to make sure it's backed up and it's secured. So 3 steps. Set it up, know the features, master the collaboration, and then secure your accounts. So things to do during the setup and things to understand. Number 1, you got to evaluate the total footprint of your data. So if you're thinking of using Microsoft 365 and share data through it and have it as your file server, if you will, and your domain controller as well, because that feature comes built in, we got to know how much data you have. So you got to evaluate the total footprint of your data to be moved. But most importantly, not only how much data, but a lot of us have a lot of data that could be deleted and we are no longer using. And some of us are on top of the cleanup of our data, but we need to evaluate that total footprint. Number 2, we need to structure and create teams for group-based access. So the way that it works is, HR is that team, finance is that team, sales is that team. We need to decide what the teams are, and we need to decide what level of rights they need to have to give them that group-based access within the environment. Things to consider before you start using it. Or if you're started to use it and just using email, if you want to use more of it, this is things you have to consider to make sure you're able to do it. Number 2 is mapping of current data sets to new groups. So now that we know what the data is and we know what the groups are, we got to bring them together. And when we do that, now we have the right rights given to the right user in the right group, and collaboration can happen between groups. 3 is to evaluate current network and upload and download speeds. And that is something we like to look at, but in general, most speeds now are adequate. But the idea is, do you have enough internet speed to be able to handle all your files not being in your environment? Now your files are in the cloud. You're able to reach them using any device, your cell phone, your iPad, your Android device, whatever, your laptop, whatever device you have, you're able to reach all that information easily. But most importantly, do you have enough speed to be able to do that? And that's not a huge concern usually now because internet speed went way down. Now that we have groups and those groups have rights, every user within those groups have their own rights as well, because I can be the HR director and I have rights to see certain files, but my HR admin, I don't want them to be able to see other things, or sales or other, every department has those. So now the user access rights within those groups have to be looked at and evaluated. Before we get started, things to do during the setup. Then what devices are you going to use? So review those devices that need access, make sure that we have them set up properly with multi-factor authentication, with the right tools or the applications loaded on them, connected properly to your tenants, and that things are working. So we'd like to review those devices and make sure they can handle it and are able to function. And then, like I said, it could also be your Active Directory. So, and then you have a domain controller at the office. We got to make sure that your AD sync, your Active Directory sync between your office domain and the cloud domain, or at least move it completely to one and make sure that we have redundancy that way. And what that does, Active Directory, for the people that don't know, it allows for username and passwords, among other things. It's really the traffic cop of a network. And that function doesn't need its own server. It could be just that function in the Microsoft environment. You don't need to get a server for it. Microsoft builds that function as part of their offering. And the idea of linking both of them together, because you could be in a hybrid environment where you have applications like CAD that needs to be loaded on a local server because you're using it that way and it requires a lot of bandwidth and resources. And every other application can be hosted in a cloud environment and you could reach it the other way. And then evaluate the apps, because it comes with the applications that comes with Microsoft, but so many people and different companies write applications to run within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. So, understand what's out there and how you could use those apps to be more collaborative. And I'm going to go through a few of them during our webinar today. So these are the things to do during setup, things to consider, things to make sure that you've hit on. And we can help with that, obviously, but I wanted to give you guys a list of what we go through to make sure that we set it up. The idea here is it could give you full capabilities. Your files can be in the cloud. Your file share, so that's your files, meaning your own files that you only have. You're not sharing with anybody else. Or your file shares where multiple people in your company can jump on and use those files at the same time, and which is unique in the Microsoft 365 environment. The idea of opening an Excel spreadsheet and then have somebody else jump on the same spreadsheet while I'm using it, and we see each other's icons and what we're doing and what we're typing and truly work together collaboratively. I'm going to show you guys some of that. It truly could be your communication hub. It could be your domain controller. It could be all your servers. It could actually be your desktops. With Microsoft Business Premium, they include a desktop license. It's your access, it's your security. It could be quite a bit. So I say walk before you run, know how to use the tools first, understand collaboration, understand how people could work together better, and then little by little see if looking at that full capability and what would fit where makes sense to you, and consult with us so that we could see if it fits for your environment and what you're doing or not. So what's so special about Microsoft 365? Why are we talking about it? Why is it taking off? And why is everybody really liking it? It's something called OLE, Object Linking and Embedding. And it's been around for a long time, but Microsoft keeps improving it. The idea of taking any portion of any applications that they have, like an Excel spreadsheet and a table within that Excel spreadsheet, and embed that within Word and have it work as one file. The idea of having multiple people be able to jump on the same file at the same time, it's all coming from OLE, Object Linking and Embedding. That's their technology, and that's what makes it special. So let's get started. I'm going to start giving you some hidden gems, if you will, helpful hints of stuff that you guys can use in those applications. So I'm going to start with Outlook. With Outlook, and I'm going to jump in a demo in a second, and I'm going to open up Outlook, and I'm going to show you all this stuff that I talk about and how to use it. But number one, practice the 4 Ds. You don't want a huge Outlook inbox. you want something that's cleaned up. So either delete it, do it, delegate it, or defer it. So in other words, you see an email you don't like, delete. You see an email you need to respond to or file, do it. You see an email that somebody else needs to do, forward it. And you could forward it to Teams, you could forward it to that person, or defer it. Defer is a big piece. I need to get back to this. I don't have time right this second to respond to this email, but I can't forget about it. So use flags, use categories for a second review. And then organize all your emails with flags and categories and tasks. You'll see how emails can be converted into tasks, and truly use Outlook as your management system for your day-to-day. I'm going to show you how to do that. You could write email a lot faster with templates. In other words, I know that we get requests for certain things that happens the same exact way every time. Everybody's asking for security information or whatever it may be. Well, we could predefine templates within Outlook so that you don't have to retype that email multiple times or go to an old email, copy it, come back. Outlook has that built in. You can go to templates, click on any templates that you can create, and it will fill all that information in for you, speeding up the response time. There's something called quick steps. You can create them, but quick steps is like rules. But basically, if you receive an email from somebody specific or an email with a word in it, I want you to either forward it or send it or file it, and we could have that automated for you as they move on. I'm going to show you how to use that. And then and we get this question all the time. Oh my God, I sent this email. I shouldn't have sent it. It's a mistake. I've included something I shouldn't include. Well, with Microsoft 365 now, you're able to recall a sent unread message. It's important. It has to be unread. If they already read it, it's too late. You can't recall it. It's open, right? It's in their environment now. But if it's unread, you're able to recall it, or you resend it as well. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And then there's something new called @mentions. So if you click @ and you start typing somebody that works in your company, their name will come up, and then you can do searches on someone's attention. It will pop up on the top and say you've been mentioned somewhere in their activities. So it really helps people understand when they are called out to do something specific. So that's Outlook, some of the benefits of it. So I'm gonna show you guys some examples. So I opened up Outlook. Some things. So delete it. Do it, delegate it, or forward it. Delete it. Well, if I get a message like this, I know this is nothing. I'm going to just delete it and get it out of the way. Do it is I take action right away, and I can take actions from here. But if I look at an email like this, well, if somebody visited our website, well, I may want to categorize this and say, this is marketing. I'd like to reach back out to them. And I want to flag this so that I don't forget about it. And now I move on. I'm going to reach out to them later. This is something I flagged. But now I flagged it with the right categories, and I've created myself a whole bunch of categories, whether it being vendors or sales or R&D or personal stuff or management or my daughter or whatever it may be. You create your own categories and you use it that way so that you could organize yourself. And then most importantly, I flag it. So when I flag, I can come in and say, just show me everything that's flagged. So then I can have all my flagged items by themselves, by flag status, by flag start date, and then the flag sees no date here, and all the ones that I have flags show up. You're able to easily manage Outlook that way. So write email faster. Let me open up an email, a new blank email that pops up, and I can start typing. I'm going to send Christy an email as a test. Christy is actually on the webinar, so hello, Christy. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to view my templates. And the templates show up, and you're able to easily showing up on my other screen. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to move this. So bear with me one second, guys. Well, it's showing up on the other screen. I don't want to waste our time, but if you click on View Templates, it's easy to understand, and it's easy for you to be able to select all the different templates that you have to move it. Quick Step is another piece of it, And quick step is right here. And these are the quick steps that you could do. So you can create a new quick step, meaning, let me see. Basically, I'm going to choose an action, move to a folder, copy to a folder, delete a message as soon as it comes in. Well, what message am I going to delete? I'm going to add another action. And the action is anything that's set under category or a categorized message. And the category is 1485. So I want you to delete anything that has this category. And I click finish, and it will do it for us. Quick steps allow you to go in and do certain things on a massive scale a lot quicker. There's team emails. There is, when we're done with certain things, you can click it, play around with quick steps, and you'll see it. And if I sent an email that I want to roll back, I'll go back to my sent items. I'm like, oh my goodness, I sent Andy an email. I shouldn't have done that. I go to file and I go to recall. And if I do that, I can recall this message from here. The important piece is that the message has to be unread. It will not tell you if it was delete unread email. I'm going to click OK, and that's all that happened. It tried to recall this message, but it was already open. So if it did do it, it will tell you it was successful. But that's an important piece from it. And then at mentions, the last piece we talked about, I'm going to go to an email. I'm going to send it to Christy again. And then in here, I can come in and say at, and now everybody in the company show up. That's all I had to do. I'll put Christy's name. Now I'm calling her out. Hello, this is a test for the webinar. And then I'm going to send that to Christy. Now, Christy will receive it. And she'll be able to look at everything that has her at mention. And she can come in here and say, give me anything that has my mentioned on it. And then it will all show up in a nice little list for her to be able to take actions on. So it's important to know how to use this stuff. In Outlook, there's quite a bit, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the stuff that you could do. So remember the 4D, delete it, do it, delegate, and defer. And remember templates, they work great. And I did the demo. So next is Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. There's a feature in all those applications that's called Use Tell Me. It's Tell Me. And I'll show you how to use that. It's the ultimate shortcut tool. There's another feature called Control, Alt, and Spacebar. If you do all three of them at the same time, you're able to have Word read the document for you. It's handy, especially on a long document, or if you're in a car and you receive a message or a document and you're driving, you could have it read that message or that document for you while you're driving. You could dictate directly into all these applications. You could actually don't have to type anything. You could just click on a button that I'm going to show you, dictate, and you could start talking. And it will take everything you say and put it right into the document. Then you can go in and tweak it. Because a lot of times I find that I'm trying to type, but my thought is a lot faster than my typing skills. So I'm like, what did I just think of? Did I miss this? But if you dictate it, you're able to get all your thought out on paper real quick, and then you can go in and clean it up and make it your own. Another gem is use Word as a quick brainstorming tool, and I'll show you how to do that, because you're able to start typing anywhere in any document without having to worry about legends or enter points or anything like that. And I'll show you what I mean by that. And then copy and paste. Obviously a very strong piece, but did you know that you can copy and paste up to 24 different items? Like I can copy this sentence and then copy the second sentence and copy this fourth one, up to 24 of them on pictures and other applications. And I can come in through the clipboard and decide what I want to paste, where it is. I'm going to show you guys how to do that, which is very helpful because most people use it as one-to-one. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. Now I need something else copied. I go copy it again and I paste it here instead of copying what I need and paste it wherever I may go. Trying to give you time saver gems, if you will. Then Microsoft 365 collaboration. And I said that before, is strong. That's what it's built. It's all about OLE. So collaboration. Work on the same file at the same time with anybody within your organization. I'm going to show you how to do that. And if you're using Microsoft 365, you never have to save again. You don't have to click save. You know, don't you hate when you worked on a document and you didn't click save for a while and then something happened to your machine and you have to go, oh my God, I lost all this work that I just did. Well, with M365, every time you type something, it saves it automatically. You no longer have to worry about saving. Your machine crashes, you come back to it, it will be exactly where you left it, which is very strong. And understand that that is a feature that's built in. And then SharePoint for document management. Man, it's very strong on how it allows us to share documents within our organization. But not only share the documents, but have a history of every time somebody touched that document and be able to restore to earlier version that we like better because somebody came in and made a mistake. And now you have a document that you don't like and that has some stuff that you needed and it's no longer there. You could go and restore that. It's all built in. You don't have to do anything extra to get that stuff set up. So let me show you some of the stuff in action, if you will. Let's do a quick demo. So I'm going to start with Word. So bear with me while I open it up. Here it is. I'm going to just use a blank document. These are questions we ask everybody, if you will. This is just a document that I'm going to have just to play with it. And if I'm in this document, you'll notice a couple of things. Up there, you never have to save again. You see this auto save, it's on because it's saved in the M365 environment. So we know, so now the system knows where it needs to be all the time. So as soon as I make a change, it's automatically saved. Let's say I want to type, I have a brainstorm. I thought of something on this question. I want to type it here. If I basically click anywhere, I'm able to start typing wherever it may go. I told you guys about Tell Me. Tell Me is in the search capabilities here. When I go up here, it doesn't only search words or how to do certain function. It searches notes, it searches people, it's spelling and grammar, it prints. Everything happened within that search bar. They call it Tell Me. Tell me how to do something. Tell me what to do. Tell me what's going on with it. Tell me who's logged in. Tell me where did I write this one sentence somewhere, and it will go search everything and go find it for you. Tell Me is very strong as a search and help capability. And I talked about Control-Alt-Spacebar. So if I do that, Control-Alt-Spacebar, it will start.
Did you start in this position or move from another?
It will start reading it for me.
What are your plans after you become
from wherever I was? Here? I'm going to stop it. So that's how it works. Then dictate directly into an application. I'm going to dictate directly here. I'm going to give myself some space, and I can come here and click on Dictate, and I'm going to click on Dictate, and now I can start speaking, and whatever I say becomes text. Strong capabilities from Word to be able to speed up your writing. Now, Dictate happens in OLE. It happens everywhere. It will happen in Outlook. It will happen in Excel. If you're able to, if you have a microphone, and I hope you do, because now you do Teams and Zoom meetings all the time, you're able to use Dictate and just speak to your computer and have it write everything that you spoke automatically. Then hold 24 items in the clipboard. If I go to clipboard, you see how this part says paste, everybody always sees it, but underneath it has clipboard with a little arrow. Now, this is the stuff that I have saved, but what if I come here and I copy that, and then I copy this one, and then I open up a different application and I copy it as well. And it will just keep a list of everything that I've copied, up to 24 of them. And I can come in and say, hey, oh yeah, I copied this one. This is the one I want to paste there. So I just click on it and it'll paste it for me. So copy and paste in Microsoft 365 is strong because it's not 1-to-1 anymore, it's 1-to-24. And you're able to copy from any application. So if I copy from Excel, it will have an application that, because this I copied from a web browser. You could see it. I copied these from Word. If I copy from Excel, I have an Excel icon there, and whatever I have copied would show up there, and I'm able to now move it anywhere I want to move it. Pretty strong. And then collaboration. Now, I'm here. I'm logged into this to this file, I can start commenting on here, and then I can put a new comment. I can mention somebody and say, hey, can you help me with this document? And send that to somebody like Ikram Jr. Or I send one as well to Christy. And then let's see who's gonna log in for us. So I'm sharing it. Share and notify. Now, they are now able to log in at the same time to this document, and I can see their icon or their mouse where it is and what they're typing all in the same time. I just wanted them to be able to see it. They get a share of the document. They're able to log into it, and they're able to function directly through it. Very, very strong. And I'm able to add comments to say, hey, what do you think about this sentence? Can you fix this for me? And they can jump in and fix it at the same time while I'm on the document working on it. Very, very strong. And then SharePoint and sharing documents. I'm going to show you guys this, but I'm going to do it during a Teams environment. So having said that, let's close this up. Again, I didn't have to click save or not save. Whatever I've done to it, it happened. And I can go back and see the versions of that document. Then I'm going to talk about OneNote and Planner, two additional tools that comes within Microsoft 365. OneNote is a unique note-taking capability solution. You're able to use it on a tablet, so you're able to write on OneNote, and then you can convert your writing directly into text, right? It does dictation, it does syncing capabilities. But one thing it does that I like a lot is that, let's say I'm in a meeting and I'm taking notes. I'm actually recording and typing at the same time. Now I come back and review my notes. On the 5th line, I wrote something. I'm like, why did I write that? I can click play next to that line, and it will start playing the recording at the time I was writing that note. So then I come like, oh, because he said that. Now this is why I wrote that. Now I understand. The idea and using OneNote for note-taking and going to meetings is very strong. I think Microsoft should release a tablet, just a OneNote tablet. It will help quite a bit. I'd buy it. Then sharing OneNote from anyone to collaborate. You could actually share OneNote or any other documents, not only with people within your organization, but actually clients or vendors. And they can come in and put their own notes. You could have an agenda that's shared, and people can collaborate on that, and they don't have to be part of your company. They can be outside your company. You could create a folder or a team for somebody outside your company to jump in and be able to use it and share folders and documents that way. And then you could have a cadence with them where they log into that environment, and you could have meetings through it. It's very strong and powerful if it's set up right, secured right, and allows people to only see what they need to see. And that's it. OneNote ink to text. I explained that. Basically, your ink to text. There's a tool called Planner. So if you do any projects or if you work with anybody that multiple steps have to be taken, Planner is very strong. And you could decide what step and is in which stage, and you could move it automatically. And I'll show you how that works as a management tool. And then there's tags in OneNote. So if something is important, or you took some notes, or you allowed dictation to happen, so in OneNote is dictating the whole meeting for you, then you could say this is important. You could put a star next to it. You put a checkbox next to it. You have the capability to be able to find things quicker if you understand what to look for. And then the last piece I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about, is an application called Office Lens. Now, this application does not work on your desktop. It only works on your mobile device. Office Lens allows you to basically scan any document. And it looks like this. Let's see, it's a piece of paper. You took a picture of it. Office Lens will automatically put an arrow, a square or a rectangle lines around the paper, and you could go and adjust it as you see fit. And it will take it and make it into a document that's nice and neat and easy to see. And you could send it to OneNote. You could send it to an email. You could file it in your OneDrive or SharePoint. You could do whatever you want to it. Make your cell phone into a great scanner it's free. So with Microsoft Office Lens, I'd highly recommend using it. So let's do some demos on OneNote. Here's OneNote. I was doing some testing. Obviously, this is a demo notebook. So and you could have as many notebooks as you want. And within those notebooks, they're all linked with Microsoft 365. They're stored there. You're able to use it in any device at any time. I can come in. I can start typing in a meeting and taking notes. I can also dictate, where I don't have to type, it will type for me. Right? Pretty strong. I can email that page to somebody. Now that I took all these notes, somebody said, send me your notes. Well, okay, let me email the whole thing to you. Or I can come in here and highlight a line and say, this line is something I need to do. It could be a long note, right? All kinds of stuff happening. And well, this is the one I'm interested in. So one, I can say it's important. I put a star next to it. It's a to-do. So let me put a checkbox next to it. Or let me highlight this and make this into an Outlook task that needs to be done by tomorrow. So if I go to Outlook and see all my flagged items, this will show up there. See how you can get multiple applications talking to each other, working as one cohesive unit, if you will. Pretty strong. And I like to look at notebooks as, this is a notebook. The notebook has sections, and the sections have pages. So you could have as many pages as you want in your section. So it's really like a notebook. You could really get organized that way. And have it done that, have that capability to be able to do that. And obviously you could share email outside, or you could share the notebook where people outside the organization can actually log into it and be able to add their own notes. And whoever adds their notes, you'll know who added the notes where, because their initials will come after what they wrote. And then ink to text. If I come in here and say, see, it says ink to text. Well, I'm going to pretend I'm writing on a tablet. I wrote hello, but this time I'm going to write hi. And I'm going to say ink to, cancel that. And I'm going to say, let's select something for me. So select this. And then make this text. But imagine it being all kinds of stuff that you wrote, because now you have it on a tablet and you're traveling with OneNote and you're taking notes. Another strong piece is I can actually go to OneNote on my mobile device, log into the same exact notebook that I have here, which is the demo notebook. Take a picture or a video on my mobile device in that notebook, and it will show up automatically anywhere my OneNote is. Very strong capabilities to take notes and use it. Okay. And that's how you do it. So let's keep moving. So don't forget about mobile apps, right? That's important, because Word, Excel, PowerPoint, they all have a mobile version of it. They're all free versions. But if you log into M365, it comes with, if you will. You can download it now. It won't link to the M365 ecosystem. The idea is to be able to use that object linking and embedding. It needs to be in the same server so that they all talk to each other. That's the idea of Microsoft 365. That's why we think everybody should have it, because it has that capability that no other system really has, to be able to allow multiple people on the same file at the same time and really collaborate between applications. So we talked about setup and features, right? Well, let's talk about master collaboration. And that's going to takes us into Microsoft Teams. So master collaboration. Master collaboration is really about mastering how people can work together. You got employees working remotely, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's the case. Well, let's look at Teams for them. Share team message via email. What if you get somebody wrote something and you want somebody else to see it and review it, and what do they mean here? You're able to actually select a small team message and send it. And here, I'm assuming you guys used Teams before. If not, I'm going to log into Teams and show you how all these function. To post and forward emails directly to Teams. Every single team you create within Teams, HR team, sales team, whatever team, and I'm going to show you all ours. And it doesn't even have to be teams in departments. It could be teams within a department, like, you know, finance, payroll is a team of only one person or two people. I mean, a team, two people. So in that case, everybody else in that team won't have access to that piece of it. But that piece of it can have its own email address, because if anybody has a question, you could email that team automatically and it will show up in Teams. And I'll show you how to do that. And then bookmark items from your chat is strong, because sometimes I read something in Teams and say, somebody wrote quite a bit and I want to come back and reread it, come back and see what they meant. And I don't have time now. I can actually save that for later and then come back and see where it's at under all my saved items. And I'll show you how to do that. And Teams for document sharing is the cat's meow. I'm going to show you that in a nutshell, because it truly incorporates SharePoint, its capabilities. But a lot of people that use Teams for sharing of documents, they say, you know what? The issue here that we're seeing is that it's not as easy as a map drive. It's not as easy as I can go anywhere to Word file open and then see all my stuff there. It is now. I'm going to show you how to do that, how to make it look like a map drive locally versus a website that you go to. That's why adoption was a little slower until Microsoft released those features. Teams Meet now is a very strong feature, because we use Teams not only as our collaboration system and our file management system, but also as a meeting environment. And if somebody's in a team and I want to meet with everybody on the team now, I click on this button and everybody will be asked to join. You could record and transcribe a meeting that you're in. So every single word that we say and the recording of what we're doing can happen automatically if you're in a Teams meeting. It will transcribe every word from everybody. It'll say, user A said this, user B said that, you said this, and then you have it all, and it's all recorded and transcribed for you. You could use your Teams as your phone system. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's built in. You have to have the right license. But if you do have that, you could make it your own full system. And it also works, just to let you know, as a soft phone for other systems. And we use that for our hosted platform. We could have Teams as your soft phone. And other apps to consider, because there are so many apps. I like Polls, I like Viva Engage and Viva Learning. I'm going to show you some of these. There's other apps, Planner. I'm going to show you some of that too. So I'm going to show you some of the capability that Teams has that allows you to be able to truly use it in a collaborative fashion. So having said that, let's jump in a little demo, shall we? Okay. These are the teams that I've set up, and these are some that I have pinned. I'm in executive leadership, I'm in sales and marketing, among others. But these are the teams I'm in. And under every team, I have channels. Free chat channel, Niagara Street channel. This is for us. This is internal stuff for us. But I'm going to come to the sales and marketing. I'm in a webinar. So this is a webinar channel that I have. If I come here, I can get a link to that team. I can manage tags within the team, which means sales tag, a deleted tag, wherever it may be, or I can create my own tag and come back and see it. Here's every member in the team. There's 7 of them, and here's the members. But I can also get an email address for a channel, right? That's important, because I'm able to then allow a channel to receive emails from anywhere into it directly. And it looks just like a Teams message. So that's all you do. You create a channel, you come back to those 3 points, you say get email address, and it will create an email address for us that I can share with everybody. And this is the email that will automatically enter stuff into that team for me. So I can email something to this email address, and once it's received, it will show up in the posts. In Teams, also you have files. So here's some files that we have for webinars. I'm under webinar, so here's our webinar files, if you will. I can also add anything that I want within Teams, other apps like Engage or Excel, or a specific folder or file that will show up here, or Poly, which is a very nice poll. Like somebody asks you a question and you say, well, let's poll 10 people and see what they think. You can do that on the fly. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're able to add any apps that you want by clicking the plus sign here. But let's say I'm looking at this file. Well, I can click on the file and use it, and it opens up within Teams, if you will. I can then share that file, edit it. And if I click on editing, I can open it in a different desktop, the desktop application. I'm going to close it from here. Or I can go to it and say, open it in SharePoint. And what that does is it opens up SharePoint for me, as you guys see that now. It asks me to log in. I use a password manager, so it moves on pretty quickly. And then I'm going to get my code, because you have to have multi-factor authentication. If you don't, I highly recommend you take the time to get that set up. It truly secures the environment. And then once I'm logged in, it goes to SharePoint, and here's that file that I just looked at. Well, in SharePoint, then I have additional capabilities, like give me the version history of this file. And this is every time I logged into it, Christy logged into it, and this is the changes. Every version got saved automatically. Every time somebody finished something, it created a version. And I can come in here and say, restore to that old version, or delete that version, or let me view what they did here, because I'm curious on what they've done versus what I have. And in this case, you could see the version history. You could also delete this version, restore this version, or you could see that they changed the title in one of them. And I can close this. It'll be able, if there's a lot of changes, it will show you all the changes, obviously. But very strong capability to share. Well, I mean, people look at me and say, so you expect us to use the files this way, or I have to click and then click again and tell it to open, and all that stuff is happening? Well, no, I expect you to map it. And so here's our sales and marketing documents, and I'm going to go to webinars. That's where I'm at. And here they are. I'm able to map the files and the Teams channels that I want, and make it look like a map drive, and use it from anywhere that I want. And all you have to do to create this is to really sync your directory. And by coming in here and going to the actual channel, the files, and click on sync. Once you do that, it creates that for you automatically, and it keeps a sync between what you're able to do, and when you open it, it knows that it's hosted there, and it keeps it going for you that way. So that's the SharePoint for document management. Pretty strong, highly recommended. And every single person, remember, every single person can have rights. Some people can see certain folders, some people can see certain files, some people can't see them at all, and they don't know it even exists. And then I talked about Meet Now, and this is the button up here. Well, hey, I'm in this webinar, and I want everybody in this team to understand something. I need to meet with them right away. I'll click on Meet Now, and that will start everybody in the team a meeting. I click Join Now, and everybody's phones would ring, if you will, or their teams would ring to ask them to log in, and we could all meet together at the same time. Not going to do that since, well, we're on a webinar, and you guys can see that and understand that for yourselves. Pretty strong tools, highly recommended to be able to set it up right and truly sit back and decide what team's going to be created where. And let me bring up my teams back up. We have an MVP-NC. This is a general team for everybody in the company. Sales engineering team is a team by themselves, and they have their own channel underneath it, and they discuss things here. Some people come ask questions. This happened. What do you think about this? Or this client asked us this question. What do you think about that? Every single team has its own capability, including having pictures, including being able to use Planner. And here's a Planner. Think about Planner as being steps that you have to take within an environment. Let's say you're a manufacturing facility and an order comes in, And this order has to first go to engineering, that maybe finance to look at it, make sure everything's right, sends it to engineering to look at it and double check certain things. Well, I created as backlog, up next, in progress, blocked. You could create your own boards and literally create your own task and move one task from the other. I'm done with this. I did that. I put my own notes against it. And it's just part of teams, right? If you create a team for what you guys do, and then you put planner on top of it, allows teams and certain things to move a lot faster, allows the team to collaborate better together. It allows you to work better together. I added a notebook, a OneNote notebook that I'm taking notes on. I've added 2 of them, actually, 3 in this case. I've added a bunch of questions that we use, which is a Word document. Here's that same Word document we discussed, right? And I've asked them to log in. So Ikram Jr. came in and said, good work, because I've sent it to him and he's able to see it. You see how it all works together? It's truly very strong if it's configured right. And then you train your people how to use it, and it becomes second nature after that. After a while, it's a lot easier to do it once you understand how it is. So let's move on. So we talked about knowing the features and the setup, master collaboration, now securing your account. Once it's set up, there's 6 layers of defense, 6 layers that you should protect against in a cyber security environment and on a network. The first layer is data, right? That's what we're really trying to protect. We're trying to protect your data. That data is being produced by some sort of an application, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever data. Could be one word. You need to be in an application to be able to type that word. That application is loaded on an endpoint. So Microsoft 365 are really data application and endpoint layer that it lives. Obviously, there is a network layer and a perimeter, which is your firewall, and a human layer, because you have humans typing the stuff in. And we have tools to protect against all those layers. But in the Microsoft 365 environment, these are the 3 layers we're worried about. So to make sure you're protected, I give you 9 questions to ask yourselves. Number 1, are you using multi-factor authentication? You've seen it happening in real time. So make sure it's turned on. And if it doesn't ask you, it's not turned on. Are you using expiry links and passwords for sensitive files? Because passwords and files you could secure them with passwords. Are they expiring? Are you using a password vault to be able to make sure that everything is configured for you properly? But most importantly, make sure that you don't have any expired links in that environment. Sometimes there's auto forwarding in emails that we see. So have you disabled all auto forwarding that will send your email somewhere else? It's just to make sure that you know you have all the rights set up properly. Have you configured on the back end SPF, DKIM, and DMARC? These security configuration that happens in the back end in your tenants will allow us to see and secure your environment. So we don't want you to be able to log in from China or Russia. You're not traveling there. And if you are, let us know so we could open up those countries. But we're able to isolate all the outside countries, eliminating the risk of being hacked, right? And with those configuration, if they're configured right, we're able to not only eliminate the risk of being hacked, but who can log in, when, and what time, and from where. Like if you tell me I'm only going to ever be in New York State, so let me just eliminate the rest of the world and just keep New York State or just Buffalo and just keep you there and truly harden that environment from a security perspective. So is your 365 secure? And is Azure Portal inactivity timeout enabled? Because we want AD sync happening between both environments so that your local network and your M365 network work in sync so that your Windows password is the same password for your M365 environment. Once that's set up, so we want to make sure that the portal inactivity timeout is enabled so that if you're in it making changes and you're in control of it and you forget about it and you move away, it doesn't stay open. It will log you out properly. So are you monitoring and auditing your security policies? Obviously, that goes without saying. Things change, hack changes, new security events happen all the time. We monitor it for you, we audit for you, and make sure that your policies and procedures are where they need to be. And any old account that you may have, you're paying per account. So make sure that they're disabled and their data had moved somewhere that other people can reach. And then Microsoft does not back up your environment. As simple as that. Microsoft replicates your environments, but Microsoft has lost data quite a bit of time. And we recommend using a third-party application to back up everything, all your data, because if you're going to put every single file that you're going to use in the Microsoft environment, make sure it's also saved outside the Microsoft environment. So if anything happened, you're still protected. And alerts, enable alerts so that if something does happen in your environment, we find out about it before it's too late to take action on your behalf. So alerts have to be enabled. So is your Microsoft 365 secured? We actually have a scan that will allow us to find out where your holes are in M365. And Microsoft has something called the Microsoft Secure Score. We'll run that for you and let you know where you are at. So have you checked it? Because it's important to know where you stand when it comes to the Microsoft Secure Score. So to wrap up here, and I hope you guys found some of the stuff that I showed you beneficial. You might be thinking, I don't need to secure my Microsoft 365 environment. I hope you're not thinking that. Microsoft does a good job of that. They really don't. Microsoft really has security tools, but it's all vanilla, like everything Microsoft does. You have to understand how to go and harden it, configure it properly, and back it up properly. So you don't want to gamble with your data. There's too much to lose, that's for sure. So how can you avoid being a victim? Well, you got to know your risks. How is your tenant set up? If you're not on a tenant yet, obviously we could set it up from the beginning for you. But if you're already set up, how is it set up? Is it set up well? Is it hardened? Do you have security enabled? You got to know your risks. So what we're offering is a third-party mini network and Microsoft 365 analysis, where we'll log into your tenant with a scan and analyze every hole that you may have and provide you that. We will not need an administrative credential for your network side, but for the Microsoft 365 side, we will need your global admin so that we can analyze everything that you may have. But on a network environment, we'll analyze that for you. And the way that it works is simple. We will not install anything on any network. We won't even have to come into your environment to do any of that. We will send you a link, and then you send it to 5 key users. They'll click on run and to start the scan, and then we'll go over the confidential report and show you what we found. At the end of the day, we'll do that on your network, and we'll also use your global admin to scan your Microsoft environment and let you know if you have any holes and how well it's developed. But most importantly, as you start using it and you need somebody that understands it, we can come sit with you and then show you how to configure it, not from a security perspective, but how to use it and configure it right. Do a training with you and show you how to create your teams, how to share documents, how to move those files, and how to truly use it better. Yes, Microsoft does integrate with Salesforce. Absolutely. That's from John. So if you are using Salesforce and you want to integrate some parts of M365 to it, there's definitely a Salesforce API and a Microsoft API already written that you could use. John, I hope that answers your questions. A couple of other tools were Viva Engage and that I talked about, and the poll capabilities. These are tools built in within those environments that I showed you. So for instance, if I come to Teams, and I'm going to open up my Teams one more time, and this is where I was, and you guys see it. Well, if I'm in here, I think this is important. I can come in, and then I had already saved it. I can come in and save this message. Now that it's saved, and it says saved on the top here, I can come in and show me all saved messages. And here's some saved messages that I have, and I'm able to go directly to that message and see where it's saved. I wanted to show you guys because we discussed that. So let me sign out. I hope you guys found it beneficial. Thanks, Greg. And Glenn, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. And I hope you guys found it beneficial. And we will have this recording available for everybody. at the end of this. And yes, it will. And Liz, yes, it will be sent out. Bob, I hope you found this beneficial. The questions are coming and the thank yous are coming. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Bambi, thank you for joining and taking the time. I hope you found it helpful. And again, if you need help, you want us to come in and help you, just let us know. And if you want to run the scan, just let us know. And the way that you will do it is right here, mvpworks.com/cyber. Please feel free to go there and fill out the form, and we'll start the process with you. With 2 minutes to spare, actually, 4 minutes to spare. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. And we will be sending this recording out. David, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Kristen as well, thank you. And Debbie, good to see you on. Liz, thank you for joining us. Vanessa, thank you. Thanks a lot, John. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. For everybody else that joined, thank you for the time. And we'll be sending you the information. Bye, everybody.